Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, everyone. My name is Manoj Kumar, and I'm a medical physicist working at NCCI hospital. Uh, I complete my graduation in physics from Karachi University. After completing my graduation, I was inducted as a trainee medical physicist in Aga Khan University Hospital, who runs 2 year certificate trainee medical physics program, where we were doing hands-on training and were also taught didactic courses related to the field. After completing the certification, I was appointed there in Aga Khan as a medical physicist, and I served further there for 2 years as an on-job employee. And then I switched to NCCI hospital, where I'm currently working as a medical physicist for the last 2 years. Okay, today I am presenting a report of quality assurance that is related to medical linear accelerators. I'll start with some basics because students are also here. So the word brief is here. Brief word is not present in the report because there's a very lengthy report of almost 60 pages and it cannot be covered in a single session. Okay, so when we buy a new machine or equipment that is a linear accelerator or simulator or TPS, it has some specification, and we need to maintain those specifications so that it can be efficiently run at its 100% or within its tolerance. So in order to find that whether it's working in its at its specs, we need to do some tests. Those tests are called quality control tests. Now, these quality control tests are for many different parts, and all of these quality control tests combine to form a quality assurance program. Quality assurance for different parts. Okay, now we need to have some baseline values and reference values so that we can compare the test with them. And these values, the reference values and baseline values, come from standard bodies. And these standard bodies are AAPM, American Association of Physicists in Medicines, and IAEA, International Atomic Energy Agency. They do big clinical trials, and via research and education publishes different reports and give us guidelines so that we can follow them, and we and all over the world these reports are followed. Okay, so this is one of the report from AAPM task group 198. This is basically updated version of TG142. TG142 is the previous report for TG198, and the title of TG142 was Quality Assurance of Medical Linear Accelerators. Okay, as I said, AAPM is a standard body, so we can read the last 4 lines that AAPM supports the medical physics community with a focus on advancing patient care through education, improving safety, efficacy of radiation oncology and medical imaging procedures through research and the maintenance of professional standards. Okay, history of TG reports. It's not a new report, but reports on quality assurance of medical accelerators has been published in past. So TG40 was the first report published in 1994, and it contains almost all the quality control or quality assurance tests for the medical linear accelerators. But with the evolution in the technology and different techniques comes, TG142 was published in 2009, and in this the complete tests were there of TG40, but the table 2 was updated because after TG40 asymmetric jaws MLCs modulation was came into existence, and they had to incorporate in a new report. So TG142 came. Now most of the centers, all the centers in Pakistan and all over the world, they are following this report, and still not all the centers knows about TG198 as it was just published the last year in 2021, and it's not implemented everywhere. So TG198 is basically the updated version, and it has new add-ins. That is, it contains all the quality assurance, quality control test of TG142, but it has new add-ins. So I'll be highlighting just those add-ins in TG1 in this presentation. Okay, this report focuses on CARM type Linux. We have different Linux CARM types like DHX, DBX, TrueBeam, Trilogy. These are CARM type Linux, and other Linux are ring based like Halcyon and Tomotherapy, Robotic ARM type. So they are not applicable. This report is not applicable in those Linux for those Linux, but they are saying however many recommendations are directly applicable to these Linux. This TG has endeavored to align with previous published reports, especially medical physics practice guidelines 2A, 8A, and other reports as well. Basically, the question arises that if TG 142 is there and TG 198 has almost all the tests of TG 142, so what is the need of this? So basically, TG 142 contains the tolerances, limits, and a quality control test, but it does not provide us the procedural guidelines that how to perform those tests and many other things which comes after TG 142 via different research. So those research are updated in this single document. Okay, the goal of QA program is to ensure that machine characteristics do not deviate significantly from the baseline values. As I said that the machine has to be in its 100% when it was installed. So the goal is this, that we do not want it to deviate from its installed values. The underlying principle behind these TG reports was the ICRU recommendations that dose delivered be in 5%. This is the basic principle for which we are doing all these QA procedures. Although TG142 is a detailed comprehensive report that covers the recommendations of Linux QA in detail, an implementation guide is needed to ensure appropriate implementation in routine clinical settings. As I said that TG142, it contains all the tests, but there is no implementation guide that how to perform those tests and what accessories, what equipments are needed. So there are several publications that recommends different aspects of QA test of TG142, but the community would be better served by integrating all these guidelines in one updated document. As I said that there are different work, different literature, different articles published on different topics like MLCs for MLC control tests and others. So all those research, all those articles and different reports like TG179, TG76 related to the IGRT and protocols of respiratory gating, they are aligned in this report. Okay, now new addins provides procedural guidelines for performing the test recommended in TG142. It was not there in TG142 that how to perform the quality control test and what equipment accessories are needed to perform those tests. So this is one of the new thing in TG198 that it gives us procedural guideline. We'll see one or two examples ahead in the presentation that how it is given in this TG198 report. Change in few tolerance and limits of QA test. Few tolerances and limits are revised for different tests. Provides estimate of range of time, appropriate personnel, qualification, and resources necessary to complete the test. So range of time was not, it was not talk about range of time in the previous report that for different quality tests, we need to complete within certain minutes or certain hours. So this report talks about the estimate of range of time. Appropriate personnel who should do the daily QA test, the monthly test, the annual test. Who are the appropriate personnel for doing those tests? Qualification and resources. Sample QA forms for daily, weekly, monthly, and annual. They are given in this report. VMAT QA is added in TG198 report. It was not the part of TG142 because VMAT was just came at that time when this report was published, TG142. So there was not enough literature to incorporate VMAT QA at that time. So VMAT QA is added in this report. The recommendations are not intended to be used as regulation. This paragraph is written in almost all the reports that these are recommendations. They are not regulations. You can change the report. This is customizable. So it depends on the institutional needs that what sites they are treated and as per their institutional needs. So these reports are customizable. This TG replaces all X-rays with photons. In previous reports, the word X-rays were used, that X-rays output constancy, X-rays were used everywhere. So now in this report, they have replaced X-ray with photon. And in gating section, the amplitude is replaced with displacement to align with DG76. Okay, change in tolerance. In daily and weekly test, the changes in tolerance are the test for positioning and repositioning of imaging and treatment coordinates for SRS SBRT machine, it's increased from 1 mm to 2 mm. And with the exception when SRS treatment is done, so on the day of SRS treatment where you are using IGRT with SRS treatment, so at the day of SRS treatment, the QMP is liable to validate that the tolerance should be 1 mm on the day of SRS treatment. Otherwise, for imaging for QA purpose is 2 mm. So QMP should review and sign off daily QA test, preferably daily, minimum once a week. The daily QA test is to be done by RTT, radiation therapy technologist, but the physicist needs to review it at least once a week and sign off them. The sign is important. It recommends. Okay, the changes and limits in monthly test. So tolerance for radiation, light radiation coincidence for both symmetric and asymmetric field was changed to 2 mm per Jo. And this change is made to align with MPPG 8A, that is Medical Physics Practice Guideline 8A. It was changed to 2 mm from 1 mm because most of the treatment now they are IMRT or IGRT or SRS. So we don't need field light now. Field light was needed in 2D treatment or 3D treatment. We were opening X1, X2, and Y1, Y2 jaws. So that's why the limit is increased. Okay, tolerance for jaw position indicator was changed to 2 mm per jaw for symmetric mode, and for asymmetric mode it is 1 mm per jaw to align with MPPG again. So it is also revised. In monthly QA test, VMAT is added. That is, you need to perform at least one VMAT test patient specific monthly. Okay, for monthly QA, QMP should review and sign off on the reports within 15 days of completion. That is when the QA is performed. So within 15 days, the physicist need to review it and sign off them. So that if there are any changes or actions to be checked, it is done as soon as possible. Okay, this is one of the example I was saying that the procedural guideline given. So it is given. It is a jaw position indicator test where they have completely clarified that what is the objective of this test, what are the tolerances for the test, and what are the equipments and accessories needed to perform this test, and what is the method also. This is another test, VMAT. Again, it's in monthly test, and objective is there, tolerance is there, and method and equipment is there. The highlighted area says that at least once a month you need to perform a patient specific VMAT QA. But if you are not doing many plans of VMAT, you're not running VMAT plans, if it's rare, then you can take it to annual QA. That is, in annual QA, you will perform at least one VMAT QA test. Okay, in annual test, the changes are MU linearity for photons should be tested for both static and dynamic beams, as the beam control system can differ. So MU linearity, this is a new thing. In the previous report, it was recommended that you have to do MU linearity for static fields only. But now it is recommended in this that the modulated beam is also checked for MU linearity. TBA TSET measurements for profiles and energy output constancy is optional, is done optional in this. They're saying that if the nominal SSD, at nominal SSD, the output and profiles, they all are okay, then you don't need to do TBI output constancy on annual basis. The tolerance for radiation and mechanical isocenter was changed to absolute values as opposed to reference from baseline to align with MPPG 8A. Okay, now the tolerance for radiation and mechanical isocenter is, I think it's 2 mm, but they are saying it's now absolute values. Absolute value means you're doing the test, you're looking at the test that if it's 2 mm or 1 mm, so you will see the tolerance there. You will not compare these values with the baseline values or values taken at the time of acceptance or commissioning. Okay, so another test, VMAT QA, as I said that it is adjusted an annual test. VMAT QA test patient specific QA and interrupted test were added. One is patient specific VMAT QA constancy. That is, the VMAT is running continuously, but the machine sometimes malfunction, and what happens is the beam stopped in between, and then again we start the beam and we complete the treatment. So in this report, they are recommended that do this test once with a continually running the beam, and in the another test is interruption, that stop the beam and again run the beam and complete the test and compare both of the results. Okay, the another is a tabletop sag. We have been done this test. The name of this test is reworded to treatment couch top flex. This is the new name of a tabletop sag test. Treatment couch angle tolerance is changed to align with this. Treatment couch angle tolerance is changed for non-IMRT and IMRT is plus minus 1 degree, and for SRS, SBRT is plus minus 0.5 degree. Okay. Upon completion of annual QA, it is recommended that comprehensive annual QA report be generated. It's now recommended in this report in TG 198 that after you have done with your QA, annual QA, you need to generate a report, QA report. The report should contain a summary section stating significant findings based on the recommended values. So there should be a summary sections in which you will write all those findings and tolerance and out of tolerance values, so that these reports should be signed off and reviewed by the QMP for future use. Okay, so summary and recommendations. Detailed policy and procedures should be available to every members of departmental QA team. As I said that these are not QMP qualified medical faces, but there are RTTs also who need to perform the daily QA test. So detailed policy and procedures should be there. They should be documented so that every person know that how to perform those tests and what are the tolerance limits and all that. So establish policy of roles and responsibilities for involved QA personnel. Recommend appropriate personnel to perform specific QA tests. Guidance and interpretation of frequency and timing of QA program. Now they have imposed a limitation that daily QA that we have been doing according to TG 142 also, that daily QA is to be performed by RTT, radiation therapy technologists, and it is to be done before you take the first patient. That we are doing also. But it should not be skipped. It should be done daily. Monthly QA should be following calendars months. That is, it should not skip, and it should be done following months. And the limitation is imposed that you have to do after 3 weeks or after 5 weeks. Plus minus 1 week is the imposed limit. Gap between annual QA is 13 months. That is, after 13 months is passed, you need to perform the your scheduled annual QA. Okay, this TG addresses extra time. Now there are many tests are added in this TG report, so we need extra time. So this TG recommends and provides a guideline to the oncology administrator that they need to understand. Obviously, we are doing all these things for patients, so we need extra time to perform all these quality assurance. So there is a demand of extra time and extra resources. We need to perform the QA test. The time required for annual QA is estimated to be 40 to 60 hours for multiple energies, photon and electrons. Okay, these are the few references I have taken from this TG 198 report, but there are many in that report. I have tried to complete all the new add-ins, all the new highlighted all the new points, but still I will recommend all of you people to go through this report and implement this report in your clinical setting. Thank you very much. Any questions or comments?
Hello, Manoj. This is Rahim. As such, there is no question, just a comment. It seems like you have very good command on TG 198, but I think in our next academic hour, we would love to listen the procedural part of some of the crucial tests, because you have given us a very brief review, but we would like to see the procedural part as well, if you can.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
I'm saying in our next academic session, if you can present procedural part, the various tests recommended by TG 192, then it will be helpful for us.
Yes, sure, but still this cannot be done in a single session. So we'll see that it can be done in a series of sessions because there are many tests in this report. Thank you so much.